Y'all know what's going on. It's time for another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and welcome to the show, y'all. When you get involved with somebody, especially if you have a child, and this is what this story is about, this young girl named Gail, right? She's got a child, a daughter named Gigi, right? And one of the things that, I know when people look back over their life, they wish they could have done some things different and all this and that, right? But when you have a child, you should be very, very, very mindful of the type of individuals that you invite into your house. Because when you invite someone into your house, you're not only inviting that person, you're inviting their morals, their values, how they decide to live life. That's what you're bringing into the house. And I'm going to tell you something. That should not be based on how much money a person is making. It should not be based on how good they are in bed. It should not be based on how they wine and dine you when you go out on the town or whatever the case may be. It should be based on a whole lot more. But one of the things that I would say that it should really be based on is, does this person have the right morals and values that I want my child to be exposed to? And Gail, it's no doubt in my mind, she loved her child. She loved her little daughter. Things didn't work out with, Gigi's daddy. He got on down, you know what I'm saying? Strike one, I guess, you know what I mean? And she ran into this other dude named Mario. Mario was a street dude. He was a gangster. You know what I'm saying? He lived his life that way. Now, the fact that a person is living a gangster lifestyle does not mean that they don't know how to love and they don't know how to be the type of person that you would want in your life. Don't get me wrong. You understand what I'm saying? And don't hear what I'm not saying in this sense. But what I will say is this. A person that's in the streets is living their life the best way they know how. And when you're in the streets, you learn to express love in a different way. Much, much different than most people are raised to express love. You express love verbally. You express love through favor and deeds. You express love through touch, which can include, physical contact and sex. And you express love through spending quality time with somebody, okay? Now, here's the problem with that. If your moral compass has been thrown off, then you have a bigger issue at hand. Now, Mario's a street dude. Like I said, he was a gangster. So he lived life a different way. Getting money how he could get it, whether it be selling drugs, taking it from somebody, and so on and so forth. So these are the morals and values that he brings to the table, okay? What's going to influence this child? Because this child, Gigi, at this particular time, was about 3 or 4 years old. And when kids are that small, they're watching everything. And Gigi used to watch, Mario and her mama Gail, how they interacted. And in the household, it was all love. It was all love. But see, when you have a little child, you like to play dress up with them. You know what I'm saying? And all this and that, right? Kids don't know what it is that they're being dressed up in and the significance of it and all this and that, right? So Mario used to put the bandana on Gigi's head, teaching her how to throw up gang signs and all this and that, right? And she was liking it and having fun. And when she would do it, Mario would laugh, Gail would laugh, and friends that would come over to the house, they thought it was cute. See, when you're little bitty like that, it's funny. You throw up a gang sign or you walk through the house and they show you how to, walk or crip walk or whatever the case may be, whatever you belong to. And that little child comes through there doing that. You think it's a funny, cute thing, but that child is being groomed. That child is being taught something that's going to stick. That child is never going to forget that. They don't know the significance of it yet, but they know that it gets them the laughs. It gets them the attention that they want. They get treated really nice and everybody picks them up and hugs them and tell them that's cute and all this and that, right? And they will continue to crave that. They'll continue to crave that. So as time went on, Gigi's learning all of these things, not knowing the significance of it. Mario has no problem in teaching her that, not knowing how detrimental this is going to be to her life. And Gail is not interceding and stopping it because she is starting to fall in love with Mario. And no doubt that they loved each other. No doubt that they loved each other. But that love that Gigi Gail was having for Mario made her hesitant in saying, "Nah, I don't want my child to know anything about that." Think about this. How can a mother that's participating in a relationship, full-fledged relationship with a gang member, be against the gang member teaching her child the gang lifestyle, all the trappings anyway of the gang lifestyle? You got to understand, she's a little bitty. She's not out in the street putting in work, doing all this and doing all that. But she's in the house in a safe environment and learning all of these things that gang members do. So it's not as threatening. They're paying attention to what she's learning. But these things are going to influence her behavior later on down the line. Now, in addition to starting to understand and learn these hand signs and gang signs and how to walk and how to talk, she's listening to the lingo, the slang, the words that he uses that makes Gail get up and move, or that makes some of his brothers and sisters that might come over to the house get up and go do stuff. And then what they say in response. I know with Gangster Disciples, you know what I'm saying, when you're getting ready you come into somebody's space, you say 1,000 pardons, or bless this house, or bless this space, or when you get ready you greet somebody, you say plenty much love, bro. And then when you on your way or you responding to that, you say never too much. And all of those types, see, those types of things mean something to people that live that lifestyle. But here's the thing, a child will pick up on that. They don't necessarily know, again, the significance of it, but they'll start to learn, if I say this, I see this particular reaction. You feel what I'm saying? If I say that, they're going to do this. So Gigi is learning. She would say what Mario says to them. And again, inside this house, it's a safe environment. They all think it's funny and cute. But they would get up and go do it just to appease her, so it looks as if she's calling some shots. Now she's starting to understand the significance of it, and she's asserting herself. And Gail is still hesitant because it's still all fun and games and cute. Still all fun and games and cute. Now check this out. Now see that lifestyle that Mario lives? You know, things happen when you live that life. And there's not much you can do about it as long as you're living that life. But one of the things about living the gang lifestyle is that you never get to pick when your pain is going to come back, or the retaliation from the ops is going to come. You can never pick that. But you should always be aware that when you live in a lifestyle. I know when I lived that lifestyle and we had to go do something, or I had to send somebody to do something, I always mapped out, okay, what could their response be? And in the event of this particular action by them, what do we do? What do we do? You understand, when you live in that lifestyle and you're on the streets, nobody should really know where you lay your head. Now that is a dangerous way to live, especially if you got love for somebody. Especially if you got love for somebody, because if you got love for somebody and people know where you lay your head, then all the people that you love are in danger at any time if you out there doing nonsense, right? And Mario, he was out there in the street shaking it. He was out there in the street shaking it. He out there getting his money. And then when the time called for it, let's hear, he put in work. He would put in work. And that meant what it meant. You know what I'm talking about. If it calls for somebody to get laid down, he would lay them down. He didn't have a problem with that. If it calls for somebody to get robbed, he didn't have a problem with that. At the end of the day, he had to make it known that he was not the one to be crossed. But here's the thing. We all believe, and we're the ones putting it down and making sure that nobody will ever cross us or do anything to us. What's happening is you're putting out a whole host of information out there for people to watch and see how you live in your life. And then one day that op is going to be like, okay, let's find out where he lives, so we can, or she, if for that matter, if she's a female, you calls for it, we can hit him where it hurts. We can hit him where it hurts. And that's what happened. See, Mario, out there in the streets living his life and then going home as if living the game life is a 9-to-5 thing. It's not, but a lot of gang members think it is. You don't never have no time off as a gang member. You don't never punch out on no clock as a gang member. That's not how it works. So where you lay your head matters. Where you lay your head matters. See, when you work at Amazon, or you work at Walmart or Burger King or construction job or any other type of legitimate job, you go to work, you finish working, you go home. You spend time with your family, your friends, in peace and harmony. But when you live in a gang lifestyle, wherever you end up laying your head, you put all of those people that live in that area and live in that house particularly in danger. You put all of them in danger. But you don't think about that. You look at it as if, okay, I'm at home now. I'm safe now. No, and I'm not worried about somebody coming by here. Nah, that ain't how it works. That's not how it works. So Mario, out there in the streets, into it with the op, ain't got nothing to do with them, right? So when he's coming home, they have no idea what it is that he's out there in the street. So when Gigi sees him, she's starting to bond to him now because he's been in the house long enough. She sees him when he comes home. He comes through the door. She runs and she greets him. You understand what I'm saying? And she playing with him, hits up a gang sign and all this and that. Then he picks her up and kisses and hugs her because he's starting to develop feelings for her too. He's seeing her as his daughter. He sees her like it's and it's a real expression of affection and love. And then, Gail, of course, she sees this. This is her man and this is her daughter. She's seeing all of this admiration and love. So she joins in and they all hug. She's happy. She's happy. Not really understanding, not really calculating the danger that she's putting herself in and her daughter. Not because she's living the lifestyle, but because the person that she's involved with is living that lifestyle. So one day, everything appeared to be okay. And that's what happens in the gang life. It always appears to be okay until it's not. So one day, and they got a few friends over, having a good time, grilling out, all of the things that are going on, and everybody's having fun. Music is playing, coming out of the house and all this and then. The kids are playing in the front yard, not too far away, from the parents. And it's not close enough to the streets that they're in danger. They're still kids, babies. So they're in the grass having a good time. And then all of a sudden you hear the tires screeching like somebody's chasing after somebody. You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden you see these cars that hit the corner. And Gail and a couple of her friends that were sitting on the porch, they get up and they look. And they grab the kids to get them up on the porch, right? And they're trying to get the kids put up in the house. And the kids are being ushered off into the house. They want to stick our noses out and see what's going on. You understand what I'm saying? Because people like to see the car wreck, right? But what they didn't realize is that one of those people in the car happened to be Mario. And Mario's in the car being chased by another car. And who knows why? Nobody knows to this day why he led them in that area. You understand what I'm saying? Maybe he thought, if I could just get home. See, that's the panicking in a person. I just need to get home. What he was supposed to be doing is going as far away from where he lays his head as possible. So when the opposition is following behind him in the car and they're moving fast, and you hear the gunshots, pow, 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 they dumping this thing. You feel what I'm saying? Now everybody is laying down. Everybody's laying down, and the kids are in the house screaming and hollering and shouting because the adults are out on the porch trying to get in now because they hear them gunshots and they're screaming and hollering, trying to run. But guess what? I ain't never met a man as fast as a bullet. Not me, Carl Lewis, Superman, nobody. You can't outrun no bullet. And another thing about bullets, y'all, they ain't got no eyes. I know y'all have heard that before, but believe that. They ain't got no eyes. So when you trying to stick your nose out there to see what's going on, now you're supposed to have your head down. But let me back up a little bit. Before you even get to the issue where bullets are flying, gang members bring gang problems. You understand what I'm saying? So now all of a sudden, one of those bullets, lo and behold, one of those bullets hits Gail. And when the bullet hits her, she falls down. And when she falls down, nobody is there to help her. Now she's in trouble. She's in serious trouble too, because she's bleeding. Can't nobody get to her. Can't nobody help her. None of this stuff is going to, by people not being able to get her, they're not going to be able to save her. So when the cars, they screech right on past and everybody's looking around, they look over and they see Gail laying face down in her own blood. And by her laying face down in her own blood, she's starting to choke. She's starting to choke. And the blood is coming up out of her mouth, So somebody had already called 911 and the ambulance is on the way. Now her friends, the adults, they get her in the car. Another adult gets the kids and keeps them in the house. They get Gail in the car and they rush off to the hospital. And then when they get off to the hospital, the EMTs and the people, the nurses and all of them, they meet them out there and they get out there and they're working on her. They get off in the hospital, they stabilize her and get into the hospital room. Now they get into the surgery and she's having surgery. She got hit. She got hit and her lung collapsed. And if you want to know how this turns out, stay tuned. Stay tuned because I'll be right back with another episode. This has been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and I say peace, y'all.